Good morning and welcome to the National Capital Curling Center, home of the Potomac Curling Club, and the 16th Annual Cherry Blossom Open Bonspiel. I am Joe Hotshot Tony Rockenbach on the mic and cameras today. The feature sheet game is between Team Disco from Rochester and Potomac against Team Smith from Potomac. This is a D-event semi-final game. We have on sheet A, Kitu Katsu from Potomac against the Canucks from Potomac. That is also a D-event semifinal game. On sheet C, we have Lost Handle from Chesapeake and Potomac against Game of Stones from Triangle. That is a C-event semifinal game. And on sheet D is David's Goliath out of the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. They're playing Team Morse, which has players from Broomstones, Petersham, and Potomac. This is Kyle Snyder, who is sparing this morning for the lead, Chris Janiak, playing lead for the Red Rocks, which are going to be thrown by Disco. And the Rocks win.
Looks like plenty. Got room, got room. Line's good. Got room.
Expecting some grind that never came.
It works, thank you.
Down to it.
So we'll do the starting lineups here for both games. Throwing lead rocks for Disco is Kyle Snyder. The second is Dion Barsoap. The third is Bob Williams playing out of Rochester, and they're skipped by Nick Datlow from Potomac. Starting lineups for the team from Potomac, skipped by Terry Smith. Lead is Russ Kirkman. Second is Pam Smith. The vice is Linda Kirkman. And as mentioned before, they are skipped by Mr. Terry Smith.
Thanks, Mike Kara.
Line's good. Whoa, whoa. Yeah.
Wobble and a nice recovery.
Yep, yep. Yeah. Right good. Okay. Right good. Great, guys.
Very nice hit there by Kyle.
Excellent.
Red sit two.
Yep.
Good.
Good. Yeah. This is good too, Sean. Yep.
He's going to get one, and he's barely missed the second one.
All right.
The shooter's going to spill out.
Nice shot, Kara.
Like just wants to get the second rock in as far away from the other one as possible to avoid any sort of potential doubles. And he's going to have Dion Barsoap up to the task to do that.
Easy.
Wait. Yes. Line's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Good shot.
All the way, guys, for a piece. All the way for a piece. All right, nice guys. All the way. Nice shot.
Just short it.
That's a good one.
Center line guard, not the end of the world, especially when you don't have the hammer.
Control.
Heel.
Terry making the wise move just to peel it off. He's going to have Pam Smith try to make that shot.
Yep. No.
Yep. No.
Yes.
Yep.
Straight.
Hurry, guys. Hurry.
field. Rock's going to
Nice shot,
run out
Amanda.
of play. Great shot by Pam.
Same weight.
Yeah. Where? Yep. Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Nice shot, Gunny.
Control.
Got it.
So here's Pam Smith with her next rock in the end. Rocks away.
Yellow.
Up, Rock. Hey, up.
There's a pistol. Here it comes. One. And second one. Beautiful shot, Pam Smith. Very, very nice.
Nice shot, man. Line's good. Yep. Really curly, guys. Line's good. Where are we? We're good.
All right, so here comes Bob Williams now with his, excuse me, with his first rock. Bob now plays out of the Rochester Curling Club. Was a member of Potomac for a couple years. He's come back. Good to see him.
Whoa. Amber. Whoa.
Well done.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
It's a straight up hit. No problem there for Bob.
All right. Good.
Both teams keeping it pretty basic and simple in the first end. Always a smart tactic. Don't quite know the ice at this stage of the game, so just make it simple. Try to figure it out. And they're both being pretty successful with it so far. So here's the vice skip, Linda Kirkman. Who's going to try to play that hit that Bob just threw.
Line's good. All the way hard. Hard. Okay. All the way hard.
It's going to do the job. The shooter's going to spill out, leaving an open house. No harm, no foul there. Goal one was just to get it out of play. It's now going to force Bob to just draw one in. Right to the center.
Same weight. Yes.
So here's Bob with his second rock and end at number one.
Hard.
Keon's on it. Kyle's on it. They're going to have to drag this to get something out of it. And he shorted it just a smidge. Just a nice tight 3-guard. So Terry's going to figure out if he wants to draw behind it, which is a bit risky. And that's what he's going to do. So he's going to try to score some points here instead of peeling it off, but just playing the blank. So Linda Kirkman up to task for that.
Up.
Rock is away. Well, he doesn't look too bad, but the line is really hanging out there. So that's going to leave it wide open for Nick to go after. It's almost too wide where the rollover behind the center guard is going to be a bit difficult. So, a half make. So Nick's just going to come across the face of that rock and try to get over to the center as much as he possibly can. All right, Nick Datlow, the skip for Team Disco. Just looking to play, I don't know, probably a board weight hit. Go across that rock. It's hanging out, kind of like Linda's did. It's going to go to the other side of the rock and stick in the back 12. So now Terry Smith skip for appropriately named Team Smith. He's going to try to take that out. I think goal number 1 is just to get rid of it. If he spills, it's not the end of the world. If he sticks, it's going to force Nick to play the hit. So all Terry needs to do here is to make this go away and then figure out the rest.
A little wide, no touch, no touch.
Well, this is going to be a betweener. Too light for a hit, too heavy for a draw. It could be a costly miss for Team Smith. So Nick's going to put one behind that guard on the right side of the center line. It's going to force, if Nick makes it, it's going to force Terry to make a pretty cold draw, probably to the button, if Nick does what he needs to do. So that end turned around really fast, just with one shot. There is the essence of the game right there. So both these teams worked their way through the A event until they got the A event semis yesterday afternoon. And Datlow Rink lost to the team skipped by Michael Dobbs from Potomac, and the Smith Rink lost in a nail biter to Jackson Perry in his rink from Schenectady. They'll be playing on this sheet at the 12 o'clock finals. So Nick Datlow skips stones in end number 1, just looking to draw, try to capitalize on Terry's flash. Sweepers aren't touching it. That's always a sign that it's heavy. Calling back 8, back 12. As long as you make it in, that could avert some sort of disaster. It's going to skirt to the back 12, barely. All right, so that makes things a little bit easier for Terry Smith. Now instead of having to draw to the lid, he just needs to touch 8 foot. Easier said than done. I'm sure every curler has missed this shot at one point in their career. I certainly have. But here's Terry Smith drawn against 2 in end number 1 of the D event semifinals. Terry does take his time in hack, which as the shooter can be a good thing. It makes sure you always have your pre-shot routine set. And he certainly has his own unique setup. Put the rocks away. This is Skip Stone's last rock in end number 1. Linda Kirkman by Skip likes the line. Looks a little quick from my vantage point, but I'm not in the best spot. This is going to need to check down pretty hard. And it is. And it is a lovely shot, a draw for 1. Great recovery by Terry Smith and his team from Potomac. That's 1-0 after 1. Quick scoring update on sheet D. David's Goliath is forced to a single point. So they're up 1-0 against Brandon Morris and his team, who won a nail-biter of a game last night against Ardsley. We were watching the feed last night. Brandon Morris had to make a hero double, or hero double raise kind of shot in an extra end. And he did. It was lovely. So this is Russ Kirkman, second end, his rock is away. Line's a little off. It's going to skirt into the house. Going to sit, just bite the back 4. Nick wanting to generate some offense is going to call that corner guard. Kyle Smith is certainly up to task for doing that. Oh, got a quick scoring update on sheet C. We'll update that once Kyle throws his stone. Also an update on A. I'll update that scoreboard as well once the shot is completed. So Bob McGeon got on that pretty early, and they're going to need to go coast to coast with this. They're going to get it over the hog line. But, okay, they drug it out of a pretty decent 2-guard. Excellent brushing. So, game of stones from Triangle is forced to 1 against Lost Handle. Skipped by David Schlangler from Potomac. And we have a deuce on A. Well, like I said, I'll get to that one in a minute. Here's Russ Kirkman. His second stone in end number 2. It's very wide, and it isn't moving a lick.
Yeah, because if we're light, we'll plug it up some more.
And he's going to just hit just behind the T line again. It's at top 8, so anyway, let's update that score on sheet A. It appears that Kitu Katsu got 2 in end number 1. So that's 2-0 Kitu Katsu over the Canucks. That is also a D-event semifinal game. So back to the action on sheet B. This is Kyle Snyder with his second rock. Rock is away. Sweepers aren't laying a brush to it. Just going to try to draw behind that corner guard that he set up. Line looks all right. Weight looks okay. No, it's still hasn't checked down at all, and it is going to go through. So Terry Smith is going to want to capitalize on that miss. Throw up some junk there. So he's calling for a tight guard, slightly off the center line. That rock also needs to come over a little bit with line. It's inching its way over, but it's going to be a little outside of what Terry was expecting and a smidge deeper, but they're sitting 3, all jammed up to one side.
Hit which one, top one?
Nick's going to want to pluck that rock on the back 8 off. There you can see the shot from the camera overhead. Supers are on it. Going to take, just barely squeezes by it. Really nice shot by Guion. He's going to pluck one out and sit one almost frozen to the yellow stone on the back 8. Terry likes the freeze, as do I. As it is behind the tee line. So this is Pam Smith, the second for the Smith rink. Just looking to throw a freeze on Guion Shooter. Line's looking pretty nice. Shots look really nice. Success. Lovely shot by Pam Smith. Lovely shot. Good weight read too by the Kirkmans. But Nick just wants to blow it all to pieces. Don't have to worry about their that red stone that's sandwiched between those two yellows. Oh, lovely, lovely double by Guion. He had to make that perfectly, and he did. So, a couple of really nice shots strung together here in the feature sheet game. Thank you, everybody, for that. They're pretty much on top of each other, but Terry just wants to take at least one off. One will go if Pam hits a good hunk of that rock on the button. Sorry, this is Linda Kirkman. My apologies. Linda's rock is starting to drift. Swoopers are doing their best to hold it. They're going to pick one off and send the other one to the back 12. A good attempt. Yeah, there we go. So she almost nailed that difficult double. Pretty good shot by Linda. Both these teams are certainly showing why they are still playing. Whenever you get to play on Sunday, it's always a good sign you've been having a good tournament. Bob's going to take the yellow rock out and try to roll behind that corner guard, and he does so beautifully. Great shot by Bob. Puts two in the house for Team Disco, splits them up. One behind cover, one way back in the house. Terry's got a lot of thinking to do here on what to do next. So we're going to try to take a crack at it.
Good do that too. I just don't like
It's
that
pretty
sitting
buried
there.
from my vantage point. But worst case scenario is she peels the guard off, but she, I think, was way out of alignment and threw it very, very, very wide. So the Datlow rink is now going to try to capitalize by plunking another one on that same side. I think I might have just jinxed Linda. She threw such a beautiful rock with her first one, and then unfortunately had to go off kilter with that second one. All right, so Bob Williams, second rock, and number 2. Just looking to draw behind that 12-foot stone and that corner guard. Here it comes. It's hanging out. Weight was lovely. Just didn't curl over as much as Nick was expecting. So I think Terry's just going to hit some stuff. Or no, he's going. He's going to just draw down and freeze on that. Oh, that's why I'm knocked out of the tournament. Because I would have played a hit, which is, in hindsight, a really dumb call. Because, yeah, he's had his draw weight down last end. Sitting 8 foot. Again, there's the shot from the house. So if he can make this one perfectly, that'll give Datlow Rink something to think about. Of course, the risk is if he's not first counter or second counter or third counter, or he's out in the open, then Nick's got a lot easier to do shots to make, and it could crack it over for a big end early. So Terry still in the hack. He's got that very methodical pre-shot routine. And he's ready to go. Oops. So looking to freeze. He's going to have to finish. And it is also hanging out. He's going to get to freeze on, sort of on the back one. Can't tell if he's sitting one or if he's sitting second shot or third shot, but Nick doesn't care. I think he just wants to make it go away. If he loses the back one, not the end of the world. Because that would still give him. All right, Nick thinks it's actually second shot, so that's another reason why we should just get rid of it. But if he rolls the shooter, not a big deal. If he clips out that red one, not a big deal. We're still going to be sitting 1-2 with the hammer. So, smart, patient move by Team Disco. Bob doesn't like the line. And it is very, very wide. And he's going to get his own. So there's a miss for Nick Datlow. Not something you see very often. I think it would be wise for Terry to try to throw the same shot. Looks like they tighten the ice up a smidge. You can err on the side of heavy because a tap would be pretty fine. Light is no good. But you want to sit first shot. And if he can tap his the red one out a little bit, it'll be sitting 1-2, putting the force on for Team Disco.
Okay, so you're going to put it out there, kind of leave him 1? Yeah, we're just going to concede 1. We're going to touch the ice going out.
So this one looks kind of light. And they're starting to lose the line. Pam and Russ are trying their damnedest to get it there. They're doing a nice job dragging it, and they did. Let's see where that's going to go. That is a peach. That is a team shot. Excellent draw again in the clutch by Terry Smith. And also got to give credit to Pam and Russ for dragging that stone, and Linda for calling the line. That is a textbook team shot. So, Nick Datlow has his hammer here, and while he gets ready to throw, I believe we've got a scoring update on sheet D. The Morse rank is going to trade a single, so it's now 1-1, Morse and David's Goliath after 2 ends. That is a C event semifinal game. A team from San Francisco is David's Goliath, and the Morse rank are comprised of players from Potomac, Petersham, and Broomstones. Those are 2 dedicated clubs in Massachusetts. Kyle and Guion are really going hard on this. It's going to be light, and it is going to be a clutch steal of 1. For the Smith rink, it's now 2-0 after 2.
You don't like it?
I like the quarter better, but okay.
Yep. Yep. Up. Nice shot. Whoa. Yes.
All right, Russ Kirkman lead for Terry Smith's rink. Ready to throw his first rock in number 3. It's Pam Smith and Linda Kirkman trying to sweep that stone. And it's looking like it's going to settle into a beautiful center 3 guard. Great shot, Russ. That's exactly how you draw it up. Okay, so Nick Smith got it through that corner guard. Try to get some points here. So Kyle Snyder with his first rock. Ready to go in number 3. The rock's away.
Yep. Whoa. Close, guys.
Starting to curl quite a bit. Even I don't think it's going to make it either. No, and it's going to be a hot stone. So let's see what Terry likes here. He likes another center guard. Interesting call. Instead of coming around, he just wants to Russ throw a second one, I guess, to prevent or to make the peels harder. But I don't think Nick would be looking to blank anything. But hey, it is a pretty decent call. It does junk up the front. And Russ has been throwing some pretty good guards today, so here it comes. It is wide. And it's almost going to be right next to each other, so it is a guard that is 2 rocks wide. Nick's going to leave it alone and now try to draw in behind that teeny wall.
Yep, hard. Yes, hard. Yep. Hard.
So here goes lead Kyle Snyder, his second rock in number 3. Trying to play a come around against those 2 center guards that Russ Kirkman put up, which are quite lovely in this humble curler's opinion. Kyle's rock, though, is wide. It's trying to finish. but it's not going to.
Yeah.
Okay, so while that settles in, quick update on sheet C. It appears Game of Stones stole a another point in end number 2, so that's going to make it 2-0 over Lost Handle from Potomac.
Whoa. Yes.
The game on sheet A is in the third end, but they haven't hung the score yet, so I can't update it quite yet, but once they do, I will.
Nice shot. Yeah, I'm fighting. Oh, what? Yeah.
So here's Pam Smith, the second for the Smith rink out of Potomac. Kirkmans are on that almost from the beginning. And they are dragging the dickens out of it. Now they're up. And it's going to be a third guard. This is a three-guard clinic they're putting on right now. Nick loves it so much he needs to see something get out of there.
You can't get them all, but you can get 2 of them.
All the way hard. Hard, 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 hard.
So Guion's just going to throw a screamer, try to break some of this up. 2 of them will probably go if he hits them right. 3 will not.
Yep. That's fine. You got a ton of room. Wait on me, wait on me. Whoa.
And there goes 1. And his shooter spills around to a corner guard, so now they got 2 staggered center guards. Let's see what Terry wants to do with that. Those are very easily doubleable. But he also has that rock in the 8-foot to contend with. There it is.
Yep. Yep, yep,
Yes. Yes. Whoa. Whoa.
Come behind.
Fun.
Tap this up.
Line doesn't look half bad. It's a little deep. Just going to try to sweep it to second shot, and he does. Good try by Pam, only missed it by a couple of inches. Still waiting for them to hang the score on sheet A. Don't quite know what happened.
Yep, 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 yep. All the way. Oh,
So Guion with his second rock and in number 3. It's a 2-0 game here. We had a steal and a steal. No, we had a force. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, we had a force and a steal. So Guion's going to peel one off, but he's going to clip his own out. That is an unlucky break. So now Disco's going to sit 1 with pretty much half the sheet covered.
Up here, Linda.
And Terry wants one top 12 at best. Just to block up more of that house. So that doesn't look like the shot that was called. It is wide and it is heavy. But it's settling in pretty nicely. It's nicer than I thought it would have been. It's going to sit full 8. It's not going to cover, but now it's going to be shot stone.
Think this way.
Nick wants to play the hit and roll.
No, I like flat roll.
Let it go, let it go, let it go. All good. Where are we? Nice shot, man.
So there goes Bob Williams. His first stone is on the way. He's trying to play a hit and roll here. He's going to get it. Is he going to get them both? He's going to not get them both. A good attempt, though. So Linda made the hit, go shot stone, but now she's exposed. Yellow's sitting 1 and 3. Bob's going to try to take that rock out and again roll behind some cover to sit 1 and 2. Don't need to kill it here, just throw a nice control weight hit and let the sweepers do the rest.
Yeah, it's narrow! Yeah! Hard!
Calling it narrow.
Hard! Hard!
It is narrow, but they're going to accomplish the first goal of getting it out of the house. Nope, they are not. But yellow's still shot stone, or red's still shot stone. Excuse me. Red shot. Yellow's got a biter and a second biter. Those could come back to haunt you if you don't play your cards right. While Terry sets up for his shot, we're going to do a quick scoring update on sheet D. Morse steals 2 and end number 3. So now they're up 3-1 through 3 ends. Again, that is a C event semifinal game. Still no score hung on sheet A, but like I said, once they do that, we will update it. Looks like we're going to have a 2-end update because they're finishing up the 3rd end right now. All right, so here goes Terry Smith with his first rock in end number 3. So there goes Terry. It's looking a bit heavy, but I think it's going to stick around. It's going to not stick around. I stand corrected. They just hung 2 ends in sheet A, so we will update that right now. The 2nd end was blanked, and the 3rd end was a steal of 1. So that's going to make it 3-0 Kitu Katsu over the Canucks. These are 2 clubs, both from Potomac. So here's the way the house is looking here. Team just goes sit in 1 with that rock on the outside 12-foot. Nick's just going to try to make 2nd shot here.
Yeah, make sure it's here. Make sure it's here. Yeah. Yes for weight. Yes for weight.
You got a curl line. It's out. How much? Leave it high and it's not variant. It looks more at the top.
Get a part up. Yeah, leave it.
So it's going to settle into the 8-foot 2nd shot. It's pretty open. this could give the Smith rink an opportunity to hit and roll and bury something under that mess on my right-hand side. So they're still taking a look at it. Just trying to figure out the ice here. Nothing else to report on the other sheets right now. I know sheet C's are wrapping up their end. I think actually David Schlangler just threw his hammerstone. This looks like I think it's a draw for 3. You just need to touch paint. Again, that's the game on sheet C. You can't see it out of the right-hand side of your screen. And he was successful. Nice draw by David. All right, back to the action now on sheet B. Terry Smith with his last rock in the end. Here it goes. Looks super light. I think Terry knows it too based on his reaction. And since it's so light, they're starting to lose the line, and it's looking like it may wreck on that center guard. So they may have to throw an audible heel here and try to tap that in, and they are unsuccessful. So Nick now needs to draw with his hammer to half 12-foot, and it'll be for a 3 spot. So again, here is the house right now. That's red sitting 1, red sitting 2. Here's the back side. Obviously nothing's changed there. You can also use his shot stone as a catcher. So he's got a lot of room for error here. So the rock's away. Again, this is the hammer in end 3. Sweepers just need to get it there for weight. Again, we're just looking at a full 12. Vice skip Bob Williams likes it so far. Here it comes. I like it too. And there you go. Nice draw for Nick Datlow. So that's 3 points. So now they're going to take the lead 3-2 through 3 ends. We'll also update that lost handle game, which has an identical score of 3-2 after Dave Schlangler made that lovely draw. And now we're update on all the games. So again, welcome everybody to the National Capital Curling Center. I'm Joe Hotshot Tony Rockenbach, co-coordinator of this event and club president, believe it or not. I am here calling the D event semifinal of the 16th annual Cherry Blossom Bonspiel. And thanks for tuning in. We have Team Disco from Rochester and Potomac against Team Smith from Potomac. And we are just kicking off end number 4 after Nick Datlow with the skip for Team Disco. Just threw a pretty draw for 3. All right, so Kyle Snyder, the lead, who is sparing today for Chris Janiak, a Rochester player. He just threw up an off-center guard. And Terry Smith is going to call for the corner guard, try to generate some points here with the hammer, and rightfully so. Chris Kirkman, who's been throwing a nice game so far in the lead position. Let's see if he can keep it up. No doubt in my mind that I think he certainly can. This one's looking pretty nice from my vantage point. Well, it didn't finish as much as we were expecting. So it is gonna just barely touch the 12-foot. And as such, Nick is gonna wildly get rid of it. So this is Kyle Snyder, the fill-in lead for Team Disco this morning. Just trying to hit that rock in the biting 12-foot. He is successful. Shooter's gonna roll out. No harm, no foul. Hit it just thin enough with just enough weight to make it go by. And Russ Kirkman going to try to make up for his almost make. He was just a hair heavy on his first guard. This one line's certainly looking better. Weight's certainly looking better. So he made a really nice adjustment. That's going to be your run-of-the-mill corner guard. Great shot by Russ. Nick sees that off-center red guard that Kyle Snyder put up, and he is going to draw around it. Here's the finish now. The weight is looking beautiful. The line is looking really nice. Pretty good shot for Guion. There's a teensy bit exposed, but, you know, all in all, I'd say it was a pretty successful shot. So Terry Smith is just going to get rid of that guard, make it a bit easier for them as they try to build this end up to score some points. And here comes Pam Smith doing the second's job of peeling guards. Linda and Russ are on it. And she's going to just get enough of it. Beautiful peel. Great shot, Pam. No, even better. She picked the one off in the back. Clearly I wasn't paying enough attention there. So, pretty nice shot by Pam. This is going to force Guion to throw the exact same shot again. Famous last words in curling. Sweepers aren't throwing a brush to this at all. It's a little deeper. It's a lot deeper, actually. And it's not moving. So he's going to put it back 8. I think Terry wants to get rid of it. He sure does. Nope. He's going to audibilize and throw a freeze. That really needs to finish hard for it to be successful. It's going to get part of it. It's going to corner freeze to it. Little rub. Okay. There's a bit of separation. Enough for the Datlow ring to take advantage of and hit that out without losing their red second shot.
Yellow!
So here goes Bob Williams. He's just going to try to make a pretty firm hit on that yellow stone that Pam just threw. That was an attempted freeze. That hung out as well. It's going to double everything out, and the shooter rolls as well. So now we got an open house. This has been a tricky line to read all game. We've seen a lot of rocks stay out wide and not finish like we were expecting to. So Terry now has 2 guards to work with. He's going to work with the red one and try to have Linda Kirkman draw one in. So the rock's away. Looks like she flicked that out pretty wide. I think we're going to have a wreck. Nope. It's going to get by it, but it's also got too much gas behind it. And that is going to skirt on through. A wick actually would have been to their advantage. Just barely missed it. So Nick's going to try to capitalize on that whiff. Let's see what Bob Williams can do here with his second rock in end number 4. Again, this is a D event semifinal. The winner of this game will play the winner of the game going over on sheet A. Both these teams were in the A event semis yesterday afternoon and finished second. And their reward is a 9 a.m. Sunday morning game.
It is faster.
Oh, it just barely wrecks. They're going to try to skirt it in to the house anyway. It's going to bite the top 4. Leave it wide open. Terry wants to get rid of it. Just keeping it simple. Terry's calling a pretty smart game so far. No circus shots, no hero shots. He's had a couple of pretty nice clutch draws as well. And his one miss was one where Nick was able to capitalize for that 3. Linda doesn't like the line. She was calling it from the back. I kind of do. It's going to hit and roll pretty much behind that yellow corner guard. That's a beautiful shot by Linda Kirkman. So Nick likes the corner freeze. I do too. Not like that means any beans. While they're setting up, we're going to do a quick scoring update on sheet D. The team came all the way out from San Francisco, was forced to a single. That's not nice, guys. And now it's 3-2 halfway through that game. That is a C event semifinal. Pretty impressed that we got a team from San Francisco, so I hope they're having a great time here on the East Coast. Always nice to see teams travel far and wide to come to play Potomac. Most of the clubs here have been coming from the East Coast, but we also had a team, half a team from Montreal. And the rest have been from New York, Massachusetts, North Carolina, and Rochester. But all in all, I think it's been a pretty good, successful event this year. And we are underway with skip stones in end number 4. This is Nick Datlow, the skip of Team Disco. Look at the corner freeze from Linda Kirkman's lovely hit and roll. Gotta get it to shot stone, and they do. Pretty good shot by Nick. Not perfect, but pretty darn close. So Terry's looking at it. I don't know. To draw around it would be good, but that's a lot of ice. And if that leaves his shooter exposed, Nick's got an opportunity for a hit and roll sit 2, or hit in a wide open for a force. I don't envy anybody in this position right now. Oh, there's a scoring update on sheet A. Kitukatsu is starting to run away with this. They just stole 3 in end number 4. That's going to make it 6-0. Kitukatsu, the rink from Potomac, against the Canucks, a rink from Potomac. So as mentioned before, the winner of the game on sheet A will play the winner of the game on sheet B at noon on, not sheet B. I don't exactly know which game it'll be on. My wager will be on C or D, but we'll find out at the noon broadcast.
I guess we got one. I thought you guys had one there. Yep. Who got one?
One. Yeah.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex. You're
I'm
mine.
sure you guys had one there.
Well, Terry's getting ready to throw. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to this D-event semifinal game at the National Capital Curling Center, home of the Potomac Curling Club, and the 16th annual Cherry Blossom Bonspiel. This is the signature event for the Potomac Curling Club. It's been held since we built this dedicated facility in 2002, and we are happy that you're here watching some curling on your lovely Sunday spring morning. Line was pretty good, but unfortunately Terry left it a little bit short, which is now going to give Nick a free center guard and an opportunity to sit 2 with his shot stone buried. If he makes this, he just needs to get to 8 foot to sit 2.
Nick, I don't hit it right here. We're half there.
When Nick gets ready, I'll make a quick update on sheet C. Game of Stones gets a single in end number 4, so that's going to make things tied up at 3 apiece. It's a club from Triangle Curling Club. That's Game of Stones throwing Yellow Rocks against Lost Handle, which is a club skipped by David Schlangler, skipping his first Bonspiel and doing a mighty fine job out of it, if I may say so myself. And half his team is from Chesapeake, but they also curl in Potomac. It's Cheryl and Denny, a lovely couple. And their vice skip is F.L. Edlin, who's been a mainstay of this club for as long as I can remember. So Kyle and Guion are trying to make something out of this light stone. They are trying their damnedest. They're going to leave it short. Not a kind of the pro side miss, because even if, yeah, leaving that short is fine because they're still sitting shot stone without. So Terry's got a couple of options here. You can throw the tap on his yellow stone, which would be pretty delicate. He's looking at some sort of, I guess, delicate cross nose hit for 2.
Yes, yes, yes.
Can't be wide here. You run the risk of running that rock that Nick just threw into the house.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don't envy Terry's position right now. It's amazing. 1 or 2 stones really change the outcome of this end. What? Terry's had a couple of clutch shots so far. Let's see what he can do. This will definitely be his hardest rock of the game so far. Let's see if he's up to task. So this is hammer, end number 4. It's Russ Kirkman and Pam Smith scrubbing away. And a bit of an audible here for the Rays. And he succeeded. So 1 yellow. Terry Smith yet again comes through. And we got ourselves a tie game at the halfway mark. Hell, do you like that? And I do, because I'm a curler.
Not by much, though.
Whoa. Whoa. Yes. Center line guard. Yes. 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 Yes, yes, hard. Yes.
All right, Russ Kirkman,
Yes, yes, yes.
the lead for the Smith rink. He has been a guard robot today, with one very minor exception. And if there were other ones, I've already forgotten them. Which is what long days and nights will do at the club. But I'm trying to keep my wits as sharp as possible here, because we got a half a game left in this D event semifinal. And Russ once again comes through with a lovely center line guard. It's turning into just automatic for him right now. So Kyle Snyder, aka not Chris Janiak, sparing today. Throwing lead rocks for Nick Datlow and his team Disco.
I kind of like drawing.
There's your corner guard.
That's great. You think you get this through here?
Darn near perfect.
That never comes into play.
Center line guard. Let's take it out. Come around.
Terry likes rock around
Control.
Russ's center line guard. I think in would be better.
Whoa. Yes, plan B. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So Russ Kirkman's rock is away.
Whew, that's the moxie on it.
Stay with it.
Want to cover this up? Draw it in here.
Okay, the weight was really good. The line was just a smidge off.
Control.
But even if it was if it was a hair heavier, it would have been darn near perfect. Nick, though, is wisely going to hit that rock away, as it is in the front of the house and sitting shot stone.
Close. Whoa. Yep, Bob, yep. Whoa, whoa. Perfect.
Lovely hit right behind the center guard. Nice team shot. Good line read by Nick. Some good carving and sweeping there by Bob Williams.
We're turning on this one back. Through here. Okay. Up here. You throw like bumper. Up here.
So Terry Smith, his rink still has that center guard for them, and a red rock top 12 also on the center, all advantageous for his team. This is Pam Smith, her rock in number 5. Again, this is a D-event semifinal game. If anybody wants to see how their path has panned out, we have live scoring updates and a live draw on the curldc.org webpage under the Cherry Blossom section. We've been updating that as quickly as possible. And I assure you, since I was doing the updating today, it is 100% accurate. Now I'll probably just expose myself to having something slightly off. Oops.
I mean, this is like automatic.
Yeah, I know, we feel it's automatic. They can't see much of it.
Take it in.
Yeah, straight back. I like straight back. Wait, what?
Whoa! Dan! Come this way. Yep. This is the line, straight back. Just right here to here.
Back and forth, right?
Yeah, back forward.
Got it.
Same weight's good. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yes. Yes. Whoa.
So Guion's going to get a little rub and roll behind center again. And the one that he rolled off of also still stuck around for a biter. Let's take a look at it from that angle. So Disco's sitting 3. And is starting to get away from the Smith rink. Terry's going to try to do his best to recover from it. But Disco's playing a pretty nice end so far, even with those rocks in the center of the house. Lerm was using it against Smith's advantage here. So that's going to be a flash, unfortunately, for Team Smith.
I don't want to guard this.
Almost poorly timed. Yeah, Nick is in a squirrely position here. He's got 3 in the house, but 2 of them are in the center. He said he didn't want to guard it, and I don't blame him, because you don't want to be throwing center line guards with your second, with the hammer. So yeah, he's just going to throw one of the bit of the wings here, top 12. And here goes Guion. His rock in end number 5. Just want to have this bad boy dead on here. Looks a smidge deep. Guion from the back is thinking about brawling behind it. And they're going to settle in the back 8. It is not hittable given those rocks in the center line, but this does give something for the Smith rink to sit on. So this could be the out that they needed. So Linda Kirkman's going to try to take advantage of that by drawing down to the rock that Guion just threw. Has to move. It's wide. And Russ and Pam haven't touched it, which is always a sign that it's heavy. Here it comes. It's starting to finish, but I think it's gonna. I think it already ran out of real estate. That line was a smidge better. It would the weight would have been perfect. The weight was perfect. Just a smidge too wide. So that cuts him down a little bit though, because Team Disco now is only sitting 2 instead of sitting 4.
It does tend to shoot over in that direction, doesn't it?
So Bob Williams is going to try to plug that draw hole up now. If he does hit top 12, he could probably try to play a tap later for a third counter.
Switch, guys. Okay, go. Go for a time.
Kyle and Gian are dragging this as far as they can. They're going to short it, though, but it is going to take that draw away. So if there was any way to not make it 100%, they were successful.
All the way. All the way. Draw this way. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
So the Smith rink is now going to draw. He's looking. He's changing his shot up a little bit. He's looking to maybe draw to the other side. They haven't really touched the entire end.
Try here.
So Lynn is going to come down and take a gander at it. While they are figuring this out, we're going to do a quick scoring update on sheet D, the Morse rink. Let me see, I believe, no, somebody just got in the way, so now I can't tell. Still can't tell. All right, Lowell, we'll put a delay on that scoring update because I don't know what happened. Because everybody is accidentally in the way. I'm sure they're not doing it on purpose. It's a force. So the Morse rink gets a single in end number 5. It's now 4-2, Morse over David's Goliath out of the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Scoring update also on sheet A. That's a single for the Canucks. It's going to make it 6-1 after 5 ends. All right, so here's Linda Kirkman ready for her next shot here. Pam and Russ aren't touching it again. And it's also wide, unfortunately, for their team. It is going to keep coasting. And it is going to bite the back 12. So Disco sitting 2. All behind cover in the center of the house. Oddly enough, because they have the hammer, but they've been taking advantage of a couple of misses from the rink skipped by Terry Smith. And Bob Williams is going to try to continue that by putting another one, a third counter, towards the center. Gian and Kyle not touching it at all. Now they come down because now it's starting to dig in. They're going to leave it short. That's going to make the draw difficult for Kirkman again because now the line is wider. Because we'll just take a quick look here at the house, and if they want to get shot stone, they're going to have to get a good hunk of the 4-foot. And even if they want to get second stone, they're going to have to get a good hunk of that 8-foot close to the 4-foot. So pro side miss for Bob Williams. While they figure out this shot, we will do a scoring update on sheet C. Lost handle gets a single in end number 5, so that's going to make it 4-3. 3 out of the 4 games, so you can see on the scoreboard, are very close. Kitokatsu and the Canucks bucking that trend, but we've seen crazier things, and who knows what the last 3 ends will bring in that game. Looks like there was a little audible call there by Terry Smith. He's now going to try to draw behind that corner guard on the left side to try to sit shot stone. A really good try. He almost actually got that. That was a tough stone to read, especially with the line. That finished super hard. And it looked like it might have checked down a little bit. Good try by Terry. It is not hittable, but at the same time, it doesn't really do you any good because Red was already sitting 2 after that stone. He came within a couple of inches of turning the end completely over for his team. But unfortunately, that's not the case. If you are rooting for Team Smith, if you're rooting for Team Disco, you were very pleased with the way it turned out. So that's going to have Nick try to put a 3rd one in from this pretty tricky draw. I will say that his Terry Smith's draw did make this shot more difficult because now he needs to get more of the 8-foot to work with. It's got to be 4 foot. Bob is right. Squeaks by the guard. Let's take a look at the top. See, so that's, I think it actually is 3rd shot. Man, couldn't have, pardon the expression, couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Are we shot rock? No. Okay, then we need to draw.
So
We need to draw.
Disco is sitting 1, 2, and 3 with hammer. And again, it's kind of been a squirrely setup here for the rink from Potomac and Rochester because they're sitting 3, they have the hammer, and they've been playing with the center guarded pretty much the entire end. But Nick is certainly making lemonades out of the lemons that he was given. And yeah, you know, at this stage of the game when you're tied, a deuce is great, a 3 is even better because that's going to force your opponent to have to play aggressive because they're going to need some more points and they're starting to run out of time.
Take that out again.
So Terry Smith with his last rock in a 6th end. He's got quite the mountain to climb here. I think he's going to try to duplicate his own shot. He could play off a bit. I mean, he doesn't have, it's 1, 2, and 3, but just barely. So let's see what he's got here. And the rock is away. Linda calling line immediately. They're trying. It's just going to run out of steam. The line was really nice for a little tap. A good attempt. A very, very good attempt by Terry. Just light.
Clear some stuff out.
I mean, I think Nick is trying to make some sort of delicate hit on Terry's first stone. That's the yellow rock in the 8-foot. Can't see him making this worse for himself. The 3 is pretty much in the bag.
You sure you want that much?
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, control.
Close. You're fine. You just gotta keep going.
A gallant attempt, but nonetheless, no harm done. Looks like 1, 2, 3, count them up, for Disco. Clutch 3 in the 6th. In the 5th end, excuse me. I gotta start paying better attention here. So there you go, 6-3. Disco over Smith.
Guard duty? Yeah. Okay.
So here's Kyle Snyder. Again, sparing this morning for Chris Janiak, a Rochester curler. Kyle is a home team player here. Nice for him to spare for the Datlow rink. He's throwing a pretty nice game today, as evidenced by that lovely placed center guard.
Roll around.
Okay.
Yeah, if we could get up. Yeah, if we tap it a little bit, that's fine. I'm gonna try to draw it right in behind it. Yeah, normal. Sitting in the top of the 4-foot-ish. Okay. Back of the 8-foot. Okay. Still reasonably quick. Yeah. Okay, it's like a tough shot. But if we end up on the curve, that's okay.
So the rink from Potomac, Terry Smith's rink, is trying to throw the center, oddly enough. And Nick just wants to keep it nice and clean because they've got a 3-point lead. So let's see what they can do here. Young gets one, but unfortunately his shooter covers shot stone for yellow. There is a scoring update on sheet D. David's Goliath is forced to 1. It's going to make it 4-3. They are through 6 ends. They're playing end number 7 right now. This is looking pretty light. Russ and Linda are trying their best to make something out of it, but it's going to wind up being a center guard. Not exactly what you want to do if you have to make some, you have to catch up here. So those two rocks are pretty well lined up for a run back, and that's what Guion is going to throw. And once this shot is over, I'm going to announce that there was handshakes on sheet A. So Kitu Katsu is going to win their game against the Canucks, and they're going to be moving on to the D event finals. Congratulations to Catherine Koslick, Jeremy Vandenhouten, Adam Kapp, and I'm blanking on the other person on that team. Oh, Catherine Gurinova, that's right. There's Skip, our incredibly talented junior lady skip. So congratulations to them. Like I said, they're going to be moving on to the D event final against the winner of this game. Here goes Pam Smith with her rock. Looks like she pitched it wide. And unfortunately she did, so Nick's going to get another crack at this run back. There goes the red, and there goes the yellow. Great shot by Bob Williams. So now the rink, Yellowstone Smith is going to have to chase. Not what you want to do when you're down 3 with hammer. Nick's playing a pretty nice end here. This is Linda Kirkman, the vice skip. And again, this is a D event semifinal game. The winner will take on Kitu Katsu, a Potomac rink who just knocked off the Canucks. Another Potomac rink on sheet A. Linda Kirkman's throwing a bullet here. Just trying to get rid of some stuff. Needs to work. We're going to get one. And the second one is going to squirt to the back 4, but it's going to be mostly covered by that guard on the viewer's left.
Nice shot, Garrett.
So Linda Kirkman in some damage control. However, it appears she may have flicked it a hair wide. Oh, she's going to get one red. It's just nudged. Terry's going to try to sweep it out. He's getting there, he's getting there, he's getting there, and he succeeded. So a nice little pick by Linda Kirkman. Scoring update on sheet C. Game of Stones pulls out a 3 spot, and that last end. So now they're up 6-4. They're playing the 7th end right now.
Seems good. Yes for line. Yes for line. Might check this one. Oh, look at that. That was really good.
So here comes Nick Datlow, the skip for Team Disco, with his first rock in this end. Given the way the game is starting to set up right now, they're this is pretty advantageous for them if they've got one in the house. Nick's just going to throw your run-of-the-mill center guard. It's going to force Terry Smith to play a come around and get a good hunk of the forefoot. Could also play the run back. Could also play a quiet hit around that yellow guard, which could be a bit tricky. But that's actually what he's trying to do. So bless his heart.
Yes. Yes. Wait only. Wait only. Whoa. Whoa. Wait only. Whoa. No, freeze it. Right. Yeah, same shot, same ice, everything. Touch heavier. Gotta come. Gotta come. Gotta move. Yep. Tap this back.
Almost nice shot there by Terry. Just hung out a little wider than they would have liked. That's going to move the redstone, about the same distance from the button, just in a different spot on the forefoot. It's still buried. Probably Nick's just going to try to maybe plunk another one in now while he has the opportunity. Beat Terry to the punch, and by the punch I mean the button.
I like that ice again. Yep.
So he did throw up a guard, but I think Terry still has some sort of shot at it. It is high enough where he can certainly eke his way around. He does need to make a draw pretty much full forefoot.
You want to try this again with less weight? Like back line?
So he's going to give it the old college try here. This is drawing for 1. This could be quite the game changer. When you're down 3, every point is important, especially this late in the game. Again, this is a D-event final, or D-event semifinal. Winner gets to play at noon.
Whoa. Whoa. It's okay. Whoa. Whoa. Yes, yes. Whoa. Whoa.
It is wide, and it's looking heavy from my vantage point. Linda thinks the same.
Sit on it.
Sweepers aren't touching it.
Get rid of it.
And it's going to be a steal of 1 for Team Disco. That's not going to make the score 7-3. I want to say thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to this feature game, the D-event semi-final. This is Team Disco from Potomac and Rochester taking on Team Smith from Potomac. We are 3/4 of the way through. It's a 7-3 game. We still have the 2 C-event semifinals going on sheets C and D. You can see the scores up at the top of your screen.
Lighter is good. Anything in here? That's fine. Yes, get it over. Make sure it's over. Line's good, make sure it's over. Over and up. Over and up. Get it over. Get it over. Okay. That's good. Good shot, I fell. You could probably come in through there. Yeah, I think you should come around. We don't want it to get out. What? We need stove in the front. I gave you here before on tap. Yeah. You came over to here. Yep. So we were here before the guard. Well, it shot right over. Whoa! Yeah.
So Russ Kirkman's attempted center guard slides into the 12-foot, and Nick Datlow wants to get rid of it wisely. And he's going to put Kyle Snyder, his lead, up to task to do that. The rock is away.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And he jammed on the back. So not a great outcome there for Team Disco. However, again, they do have a 4-point lead with only 2 ends to play. So they've got a little bit of wiggle room should there be some errors.
Center line guard.
Terry Smith wants the center line guard. Russ Kirkman has thrown quite a bit of those today, so here we go. This is kind of a risky call again because, not forget it, with Disco just scoring in that last end with that steal, that means Smith has the hammer, and they need to generate some offense. But we're going through a center line guard. This looks like it's going to overcurl a little bit and be a little bit short. So that's going to leave that yellow rock in the back for Disco to take out. And Gian Garsopa is going to try to make that happen. And he is successful, and more importantly, his shooter rolls out, which gives him nothing to play with. Great shot.
Center line guard, Pam.
So this is Pam Smith, the second for the Smith rink out of Potomac, with her first rock.
Yeah, there's about a foot here. Normal.
While they're figuring this out, we'll do a quick update.
No.
The 7th end for D is concluded, and the Morse rink got 2, so there's your score right now.
Whoa.
That is a C event semifinal. The winner of that game is going to play the winner of Lost Handle and Game of Stones on the seat right next to them on C. So again, I was a little bit wide trying to get rid of those yellow guards, but he still took something out of the house.
Okay, Pam, draw behind.
Again, just want to keep it nice and clean. They're trying. There's 2 high guards. The Smith Thinkers really going to have to nail some draws here behind cover to try to salvage this game. And Pam Smith is going to try to do that right now with her second rock in end number 7.
Wait. Wait.
So she did make it in the house, and she did get behind cover. Nick's going to ignore it and try to get rid of those guards. And that is the call.
Nope, nope, nope. Yes, yes for line.
Yep.
Keep it coming. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's a lovely double peel by Bob Williams. Both of them go, and the shooter rolls pretty much. It's not useful.
Over here, Linda.
That is a lovely, lovely shot from Bob Williams. That could be an end changer. Now the sheet is wide open, so Terry Smith's rink is going to need some pretty solid execution and quite the opposite for his opponent in order to try to salvage some points out of this.
No?
So Linda Kirkman's going to sit back 12. Nick just wants to get rid of one of them. They're spaced out enough where the double's really difficult, so trying to make something out of nothing here, which she did. And Bob Williams is going to try to pluck something off of that house. Again, keep it nice and clean to prevent the Smith rink from getting anything more than a 1 or 2 out of this. He's got one, mission accomplished. There's your house right there. That shooter's now sitting 1.
Come down here.
Terry Smith wants his team just to sit down on that one. Don't want to hit it out. You need some rocks in play, or you need some catchers, or else Disco's gonna just hit to their heart's content. This one's got a lot of mustard underneath of it. Russ and Pam haven't touched it at all. But it's starting to settle down. Take a look from the overhead. Okay, so they kept it in. They kept the red rock in as well, but it's wide open for Nick to hit. Okay, so Nick picks one out. Now they're sitting shot stone. Perfectly fine. Again, just keep it nice and clean. Terry's got to settle down on that one, create as little separation as possible to try to avoid the open hit. Update on sheet C. You like close games, you are having it right now, as Lost Handle just took a deuce in the 7th, and they are tied coming home, which is refreshing for me because that's really going to guarantee no extra end. So we're running already slightly behind schedule, so I'm going to say kudos to David Schlangler for getting that deuce in the 7th. So thank you there. That makes us co-coordinator quite happy. So so all the finals are scheduled for noon. Can't guarantee we're going to be at exactly noon. We do have 3 wonderful volunteers who are going to be prepping the ice and doing a quick scrape for our A event finals. So thank you to all of them for coming in on your Sunday morning and taking care of that. Looks like Dylan Klinsky will be on the mic for that game, so thanks Dylan for that. I may pop in for an end or two if time allows, but I think Dylan is more than capable of handling this. So Terry Smith with his first rock in end number 7. He used to throw a pretty nice looking freeze here. Pam and Russ pretty much got on it right out of his hand. And they are dragging the dickens out of it. Here it comes. Let's take a look at the overhead and see where it's going to land. It's going to land just at the top 12. Doesn't do the job.
Either direction.
So Nick Datlow still sitting 1 with that rock in the back 8. He's just going to try to make a second counter and force Terry Smith to a single. So Nick will have the hammer coming home with a 3-point advantage. So this is Nick Datlow with his last rock in the 7th end. His team's up 7-3. This is a D event semifinal. They'll be on again around noonish. Nobody's touching it. Guillon's going to try to carve it over to pick out that yellow stone, and he does. Okay, that's a great shot. Good plan B. So Terry's got half a house to work with. He could get a very thin double for 2, but it kind of depends what he likes. You could also just do the drawdown for, no, drawdown 2 for 2 as well. Now I'm kind of looking at the house here. He's sitting 2, so that's the call. Just tap out that red stone for shot, and he'll get his 2. This is a very, very big shot here for Terry Smith. He does have plenty of room to work with, so if he's a little bit light and they can drag it into the 8-foot, that'll still be a salvageable single. But you certainly want to just throw a back house at it and try to tap that red about half a foot. Here it comes. And he is successful. Oh, great shot by Terry Smith. So that's a deuce for him. He's got a little bit of work to do, but now has a little bit of breathing room. Very clutch shot here, so that's going to make it 7-5, and we're coming home. Other games on sheets C and D are about halfway through their respective 8th ends. Again, you can see the scores up at the top of your screen. See what's going on here. These games on C and D are both C event semifinals. Two of these teams, the teams from North Carolina on C and San Francisco on D, actually were playing a 10 o'clock game last night. So it's a pretty rough, quick turnaround for them to come and play on a Sunday morning and then potentially have to play again. But you know that kind of coming in, you can always get kind of the draw of death, especially if you're in the C event. But if you love the game enough, you're okay with it. So Russ Kirkman, his automatic center guard, because Terry Smith needs to try to steal some points here. Going to try the tick shot. It's a fine call. You make it, it's great. You don't, no harm.
No, you're right, because you don't want to move the yellow less.
You know, a throw through wouldn't be bad either, so if you do hit it too thick and it rolls out, hey, it's fine. But making these tick shots are pretty awesome, so it's nice to see Nick giving Kyle the opportunity to throw one. And he's going to flash. Again, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Terry going to put up a second corner guard, or a second center line guard. Just clog up that middle. Give him something to eventually turn come behind. So here comes Russ Kirkman, certainly the man fit for the job here with the way he's been putting up those center guards today.
Yeah, if I'm narrow, at least I hit something.
Pretty sure that's handshakes on sheet D. So congratulations to the Morse rink they're going to move on. Didn't quite catch how that last end turned out, but we credit them with the win. So congratulations to Brandon Morris, Carl Anderson, Kim Belf, and Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, fun with that.
So we got 2 center guards for Terry Smith's rink. Kind of the best case scenario right now, the way that end is shaping up.
Just move a little bit this way.
Kyle's Rock's going to slip on through. Again, I don't hate it because you don't want to have a lot of rocks in play. So that round of applause is for the Morse rink coming into the warm room. Congratulations again to them. They're going to be playing in the C event final against the winner of Lost Handle and Game of Stones. Those are teams from Potomac and Triangle, respectively. Both those teams started 0-2 and have managed to claw their way back. One of them will wind up in a final, so kudos to both those teams for sticking it out.
Nice shot.
It's going to be a wreck on the guard, not a wreck, and it was a terrible shot. It actually wasn't half bad because now they're starting to build a bit of a wall. Guion's going to try to blow it up though. But I mean, you know, you certainly want to take that out, and you also want to make sure that shooter gets out of the way as well, because replacing 1 for 1 really isn't going to do you any good. So Guion's going to really have to step on the gas here to make some rock go away, and he has. And there goes one. There goes one in the house behind cover. Oof. A little tricky. Okay, so now Terry Smith has 2 corner guards and 1 in the house to work with. Bit of an unfortunate shot there that one of those yellow ones rolled behind cover. Didn't think you could see that coming. So Pam Smith to try to draw him behind cover, but she did leave herself open on the forefoot. Weight was pretty much spot on, but it just didn't come over as much as they would have liked. So Guion going to throw just a control weight hit. Doesn't matter if you keep the shooter or not. And the rock's away. It's got to make something go away here and try to run the Smith rink out of rocks. Okay, fine. It's also exposed, though, which is, again, not a problem, unless Smith does a hit and roll. So there's your setup right there. Disco sitting 1, sitting shot stone. They're up 2. They have the hammer. And just taking a glance over on sheet C, looks like Game of Stones is sitting 1 top 12 with Skip's last rocks to go. David Schlengler needs to get into a good, just a half of the 12-foot. I think he's actually going to play a tap in order to force Jim Sutton to skip from the Game of Stones to throw his last stone. Anyway, back to the action on sheet B.
Hard! You got it!
Linda Kirkman's trying to take out that rock that Guion just threw. It's starting to fade. Sweepers are trying to hold it the best they possibly can. And they did. Good brushing there by Pam Smith and Russ Kirkman. So, anyway, we can watch the setup here on sheet C, on sheet B. I'll do a quick play-by-play here on sheet C. Again, this is David Schlangler. He's trying to tap a red stone. About the 4-foot side of the 12-foot. He only just needs to nudge it a couple of inches in order to be shot and force Jim Sutton, the skip of Game of Stones, to throw his last stone. He's going to get something. He's going to get his rock in, and he's going to get his row. It's super close. 3 rocks are biting the 12-foot over there. Anyway, back to Bob Williams' shot. He's just trying to run that yellow into the yellow in the house. Peels the guard. It's perfectly fine. Looks like he didn't quite get enough because everybody's standing around. Are they shaking hands? They haven't moved the stones either. Can't tell. Okay, yes, that's going to be a win for North Carolina. Congratulations to them for advancing into the C event finals. They're going to take on the Morse Rink, which is going to leave one more game left. This is the one you're watching right now. This is Linda Kirkman's last rock in end number 8. Just looking to split the house. She apologized. She shorted the dickens out of it. I don't know if it's going to make it even as good as a 3 guard. It is not. Nick just obviously not going to worry about that one. Bob's going to just make this open hit. So it looks like the best thing that can happen right now is a tie, assuming Bob executes this standard hit. And he does, and he sticks around. This is going to force Terry Smith either to try to draw around those 2 rocks or do a long hit and roll. All right, so here is Terry Smith. This is his first rock in end number 8. Trying to make something out of nothing here. He's got to throw a dead, buried draw to the 8-foot. If he leaves himself open at all, that's going to make Nick Datlow throw a hit for the win. So he needs to be shot stone. He needs to be buried.
Heavy. Oh, well.
Everyone's saying it's heavy. Terry just said heavy, oh well. That's not a good sign for your skip. Sweepers aren't touching it either, but it's starting to check down. So you take a look at the overhead here. Bob Fit to Curl is going to try to sweep this out as best as he can. And he did not. So they're still alive. by a couple of inches at best. So Nick's going to throw a rock just to count 2. Just make it not a double. That's essentially all you need is to throw something in where Terry can't double. And Nick still has the advantage of the hammer, so he can still throw another one. So here goes Nick Smith, his first rock in the 8th end. Again, this is a D event semi-final game. Oh boy. That's going to coast on through, so this leaves the door open. This leaves the door open for Terry Smith. He's got a hit and stick. This is going to force, if he hits and sticks the shooter, Nick is going to have to throw his last rock. Likely an open hit, unless Terry makes one hell of a roll. Even then, Nick still only needs to make sure he doesn't have a steal of 2. So again, it's important that not only Terry eliminate this rock, but he also has to stick his shooter. And the bonus is he makes things a little bit more difficult for Nick Datlow. So here we go. 8th end. Terry Smith's last stone. Rock is away. Looking pretty good. Holy moly, he threw a really lovely, lovely rock. Still pretty open, however. A really, really good attempt by Terry Smith. Let's give you one more shot here. Nick just needs to throw a control weight hit at it. Or he can just, all he's got to do is pick off 1. He doesn't even need to stick a shooter. 1 has to go. If he does, it's curtains. And Team Disco will be moving on to the D event final, and we can start to get the scrape going for the now later than noon finals. So it's looking pretty good here, and he's going to make it. And that's going to be a lovely shot, and that is going to be the game. Congratulations to Team Disco for winning their C event semifinal game. So we're going to do a quick scrape, and then we're going to be back on the air for the finals. The feature sheet game will be Stapera from Schenectady against Michael Dobbs' rink from Potomac. So again, congratulations. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I am Joe Hotshot Tony Rockenbach, and have a good rest of your afternoon. Hope to see you in about an hour. Thanks.